Next on Worcester News Tonight, a hot day in Worcester today. We'll show you how people cooled off in the city. Plus, remembering victims of the Orlando nightclub shooting 1 year later. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Rioli. A hot and sticky day today in central Massachusetts with temperatures in some spots reaching into the 90s. The city of Worcester hit 90 degrees even, matching a record high set back in 1973. It's quite a change from the rainy spring we've had so far, but many say they're happy the heat is finally here. Here's a look at Regatta Point, where many spent the afternoon cooling off by Lake Quinsigamond. It was crowded at the lake, where some opted to grill out and others rented paddle boats and canoes. Residents say this is one of the best spots to enjoy a hot summer day here in Worcester.
Yeah, it's a nice place to chill out because it's actually, rather than actually going all the way to Boston or actually going out of state, it's a really good place to relax and just chill your mind.
Some were in the water, others enjoyed the day at the park. One man we spoke with is from the Caribbean island of St. Lucia, and he says this weather makes him feel right at home.
Actually, when we came in, it was a bit cold, but it's beginning to warm up and feels like back home, St. Lucia, where we experience this weather all the time.
And the warm weather is welcome news to some local businesses, especially the ones who specialize in helping people cool down. Cam Jandro spent the day outside and has more.
Summer heat makes its way back to central Massachusetts. Temperatures surpassed the 80-degree mark Monday, to the delight of some local business owners.
Once the weather gets up to 85, 90 degrees, then things pick up. You know, this time of year right now, the end of May, the beginning of June, we got all the graduation parties, so that's helping us out, you know.
John Iandoli owns Iandoli Ice on Route 20 in Worcester. He says more than 60% of his annual sales comes between June and August, but keeping the ice and freezers in shape in these conditions is a challenge.
Yeah, it's difficult. The compressors work harder. I run a sprinkler on them to keep them cool sometimes. Sometimes that'll set them down 2 to 4 degrees, so, you know, that helps.
Swimming pool stores are also happy to see the heat make its return. Pools and Q's and Spas 2 in Auburn was filled with pool owners looking to get their summers underway. However, this year has been unusual.
Nobody expected it to be this wet and cold this long, and it makes it challenging for us when we have bad weather like this, because, you know, when it rains and when it's bad weather, we can't build a pool.
City and state swimming pools aren't open for the season yet, but some took to the local beaches anyway. Swimmers at Coast Pond say they're lucky to have a place to cool off.
We were actually going to go to the beach, maybe to New Hampshire or Salisbury Beach, but since the weather's been so nice today, you know, this is a nice place to be. Decided to stay local and enjoy the weather right here.
According to the National Weather Service, temperatures reached all the way up into the upper 80s today, and we're expected to see similar conditions on Tuesday. In Worcester, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Speeding incidents are nothing new on a well-traveled road in Worcester. And this past weekend, an accident sent one woman to the hospital, showed just how dangerous it can be. Now some businesses are hoping it will change soon. Rosalind Flaherty reports.
Michael Madulka says speeding has long been an issue on Lake Ave in Worcester. His business does everything they can to keep their customers safe.
In the summer, where there's a lot of kids, we ask people if they're going to come by Lake Ave, please drive 30 or even less when you're coming around these edges.
Madulka has put out yellow blinking cones and hopes people will slow down around his ice cream stand.
Sometimes I shout out a little, slow down, or, they just keep coming.
Worcester police say speeding led to a serious motor vehicle accident near the intersection of Lake Ave and Hamilton Street Saturday night. A 72-year-old woman suffered back and head injuries and is expected to be okay, but police say witnesses say the other individual was traveling at a high speed.
There is a stop sign at the bottom of the hill, yet, he was traveling at a speed that was beyond reasonable and beyond proper. So he's lucky that the woman driving the Toyota was not more severely hurt or killed.
Police say the street has been reconfigured, putting sections down to 1 lane.
Several times we've done traffic enforcement there in an effort to curb the speeding.
City Councilor George Russell says he's hearing residents' concerns of CSX truck traffic on Lake Ave. One of the company's warehouses is in nearby Shrewsbury, and Russell says the trucks use the street.
Lake Ave has always been a place where the city has been challenged with the facts of people just speeding because it's such a flat, level, straight area. But now you add on top of that all the truck traffic from the CSX, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Human Rights Commission holding a special screening tonight of a film telling the inspiring story of an interracial couple from Virginia. Loving tells the story of the couple who married in 1958 despite laws prohibiting interracial marriage. On June 12, 1967, the U.S. Supreme Court declared those laws unconstitutional. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the ruling. Organizers say today's screening honors a monumental event in the civil rights movement.
In one way, like, it's been 50 years, wow. And in another way, wow, 50 years ago, my marriage was illegal. So it's a really sobering thought. And we think it's really important to remind people of how recent that history was, but really celebrate those milestones that we have had along the way as we continue to build towards a more equitable community for all of us.
The Worcester Human Rights Commission ensures equality through outreach, educational programs, events, and advocacy through events like these. Today marks 1 year since the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. 49 people were gunned down at the Pulse Nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Here in central Massachusetts, Worcester Pride says coming together now is more important than ever. Olivia Lemon reports.
We're all busy and we all have things to do in our lives to lead, but we can't take our eye off the ball here.
Worcester Pride says attendance at their events has increased in the year following the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando.
You might think, in the aftermath of something so horrific as Orlando, maybe people would step back a little bit or go back into the shadows or hiding. But honestly, it has the opposite effect.
49 people were killed and dozens were injured at the gay nightclub in Florida. Worcester Pride Executive Board member Joe Mangiacotti says survivors were on a float in Boston's Pride Parade this weekend.
It was paramount in the fact that we were able to talk to and had participate 29 survivors from that tragedy in Boston in Parade and just 1,000 people on just that float alone.
In Worcester, Crown Bakery is raising money to benefit Safe Homes, a program supporting youth in the LGBTQ community.
I'm glad to support. It's a good cause.
Half of the proceeds from the Crooner cookie will go to the program. The cookies are designed to look like Dale LePage, creator of New England Pride TV on Charter TV3.
Safe Homes is a wonderful organization because not only do they help the LGBTQ youth, but they are also somebody who educate, and education is key.
LePage says it's important for people to remember the Pulse nightclub shooting and learn more about how to get involved in the LGBTQ community.
Be informed what goes on in your community and let everyone know that you're an ally of the LGBTQ community.
It's important that we never forget and we continue to move forward and certainly bond together.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
A special event honoring cancer survivors in central Massachusetts tonight at the Public House Historic Inn in Sturbridge. Hundreds of cancer survivors enjoy dinner at the event, hosted by the Cancer Center at Harrington and Radiation Therapy Services. The ceremony is in honor of National Cancer Survivors Day. A woman we spoke with says she overcame stage 4 bladder cancer. She's been cancer-free for years and said this event is a remarkable way to celebrate with other survivors.
You have to be positive. You have to have that. I'm a stage 4 bladder cancer survivor, and never once did I ever think I wasn't going to make it. So good to talk to people and know what they've gone through. You have something in common with them. You hear about their successes.
And nearly 300 cancer survivors attend.